The storm rolled across the valley like a living monster, swallowing the sky in darkness. Rain hammered against the old truck as Daniel drove home from his late shift. His eyes burned with exhaustion, but he forced himself to stay alert. His 6-year-old son, Noah, was sleeping in the back seat, curled up in an old blanket. They didn't have much, just a one-bedroom cabin, an unreliable truck, and a life held together more by love than money. But Daniel did everything in his power to give Noah safety. He didn't expect anything to change that night. Not until he saw them. 2 little girls no older than Noah standing at the side of the road in the storm, holding hands, shivering so hard their teeth chattered, wearing dresses far too thin for the cold. Their hair was soaked, sticking to their faces. Daniel hit the brakes so fast Noah jolted awake. "Daddy, what happened?" Daniel stared at the twins through the rain-streaked window. I don't know, buddy." He stepped out into the storm and approached them slowly, not wanting to frighten them. "Sweethearts," he said softly, kneeling, "are you okay? Where are your parents?" The taller twin's lip trembled. We lost them." The smaller one clung to her sister's arm. "We're sorry, we won't be trouble." Daniel's heart cracked open. He scooped one in each arm, their freezing bodies collapsing against him. "You're coming with me," he said gently. "You're safe now, I promise." He buckled all 3 kids in the truck and sped home as fast as the storm allowed. Inside the cabin, he wrapped them in blankets, dried their hair, made a fire, warmed milk, cooked soup, doing everything at once like a man desperate to fix something he did not understand. The girls sat quietly near the fire watching him. They didn't give names, did not ask for anything, only thanked him softly every time he came near. Noah walked over to them shyly. "You can play with my toys," he offered, pushing his worn-out box of blocks toward them. The girls looked at Daniel for permission. He nodded, and for the first time that night, they smiled. Daniel called the police, but all lines were jammed due to accidents. He tried every hour, no luck. So the girls stayed. He set up a small bed for them beside Noah's mattress. He tucked them in and stayed sitting at the edge of the bed, brushing their hair back. "Do you want me to leave the light on?" he asked. The smaller twin whispered, "Can you stay until we sleep?" He hesitated but nodded. Their tiny hands reached out, one to each side, clutching his fingers like lifelines. Daniel didn't move until their breathing softened into sleep. He didn't know why, but something in him whispered that these children had known fear for far longer than one stormy night. In the morning, sunlight broke through the windows. The scent of pancakes filled the air. The girls crept into the kitchen, their faces brighter. Daniel gave them all plates. "Today," he said, "we'll go to the sheriff and find your parents." The girls froze. The older one's eyes grew wide. "Daddy told us to hide." Daniel frowned. "Hide why?" They stared at their laps, silent. Before he could ask further, a truck rumbled outside, black, sleek, expensive. Not the type anyone in town drove. Noah pressed his face to the window. "Daddy, someone's here." Daniel stepped outside, heart pounding. A tall man in a long coat got out of the truck. His jaw was tight, eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep. Guards in dark suits stepped out behind him. "Sir," one guard said, "this is the address." The man ignored him and stormed forward until he was face to face with Daniel. "Where are my daughters?" Daniel was stunned. "Your daughters?" The man pushed past him and into the cabin. The twins gasped when they saw him. "Daddy." They ran into his arms, clinging to him tightly. He dropped to his knees and held them like a man who had lived through his worst fear. "Oh God, my girls, I thought I lost you." He buried his face in their hair, shaking. Daniel stood frozen in the doorway. This man was no ordinary father. His clothes, his car, his guards, everything screamed wealth, power, status. Daniel felt small instantly, as if his tiny cabin was something to be ashamed of. When the man finally set the girls down, he stood and turned to Daniel. "I'm Nicholas Hale," he said, "owner of Hale Industries." Daniel blinked. He knew the name. Everyone did. Nicholas looked around the humble room. "You sheltered my daughters." Daniel nodded slowly. I found them in the storm. They were freezing." Nicholas swallowed hard. "They ran away. They were supposed to be with their nanny, but—" His voice broke for a moment. "They've been terrified since their mother passed. They're afraid I'll disappear too." The older twin tugged his coat. "We just wanted to see what a real daddy home feels like." Nicholas stiffened. "Girls." They looked at Daniel shyly. "Mr. Daniel, your home felt warm." Nicholas's attention snapped to Daniel, and for the first time his eyes softened. "My daughters are alive because of you." "It was nothing," Daniel said quietly. "No," Nicholas replied firmly, "it was everything." A long silence hung in the air. "Come with me," Nicholas said suddenly. Daniel frowned. "Excuse me." "Come live on my estate, work for me. I want you close to my daughters." He turned to the twins. "They clearly trust you. That is rare." Daniel felt his chest tighten. "Sir, with respect, I'm just a mechanic. I can't." "I don't care what you are," Nicholas said. "I care what kind of man you are." The girls nodded eagerly. "Daddy, please, can Mr. Daniel and Noah live with us?" Nicholas hesitated, perhaps for the first time in years, then sighed. "Yes, if he agrees." Daniel shook his head. "I can't accept that. I'm nobody." The smaller twin stepped forward, grabbed Daniel's hand and whispered, "You're not nobody. You saved us." Daniel's throat tightened. Nicholas extended his hand. "Let me help you the way you helped my daughters." For Daniel, the decision felt impossible, until Noah walked up beside him and whispered, "Daddy, can we go? I like them." Daniel looked at his son, looked at the twins, looked at the man who was trusting him with the most precious thing in his life. And he nodded slowly. "Okay." The twins squealed and hugged him. Noah joined them. Nicholas let out a breath he'd been holding for 10 years. Life changed that day. The millionaire, who had everything but peace. The poor single dad, who had nothing but love. The lonely twins, who needed more than wealth could ever buy. All found a new beginning in each other. Not because of money, not because of pity, but because one stormy night, a single dad opened his door and discovered a family waiting to be found.